All right, so you should have already created a Ripple account. Now let's go back to Ripple. So Ripple.com, and then when you come, you want to hit create right here, and I'm looking for Python. So and here's our Python Ripple. I'm gonna name it Algebra 2. You should have already named it Algebra 2 BBL. So I'm gonna create a new one, practice. So don't get confused with other stuff. Create a Ripple. All right. Still trying to open it up. So you're gonna first type in import pandas as PD. And type in import numpy as NP. Import matplotlib as MPL. That's matplotlib. And from matplotlib import pyplot as PLT. All right, so those are my imports. And all right, so next we're gonna plug in the plot style. So we can plug in plt dot style dot use, and we're gonna use my favorite one is 538. It just looks nice. 538. It's just a good looking graph. Next thing we want to plug in is the data frame, and tell you how to read it. The data frame is just the raw data from the data you're gonna input. So df for data frame equals pd pandas dot read underscore CSV file, so CSV stat disk underscore data dot CSV. Now, if you're going to read the data, now I need to input the data. This is how I input that data. All right, so from Python, I've downloaded some data, and I put it into my desktop. So I'm going to go to desktop, and I'm going to go to, the name of that is the Python PBL, and there's the data. So I'm gonna make my screen kind of overlap on top of each other like this. And to move the data into it, the best way is just grab the data, click on it, and then drag it and drop it right in this area. And now that data file is called statdisk underscore data.csv. That's why we named it this here. All right, so you should see this file written on my eClass page. So you have the same data I'm working with. Then when it's time to do yours, of course you can put your own data in. And you can name it whatever file name you want. But that's what data frame from. That's the data of mine. It's going to read that data frame. And next thing is we're going to type in print dataframe dot ed. All right, and next we're going to type in the figure, so fig, and then ax for axis equals plot plt subplot or subplot. Subplot is figure size equals. I'm going to make it about 8,6. You can change the size if you want. So make it 8 by 6. And then axis equals plt dot histogram. So hist data frame square bracket Boise, comma, underscore Idaho ID. So that's the data frame we're looking for. From that column in stat disk, the column name was Boise underscore Idaho. So that's the column name I want to use. And I'm gonna bring. I don't want to end that parenthesis there. So I'm gonna, comma bins or bins equals 15. It's gonna be like the size of those columns you're gonna see, and then a color equals green, so G. The edge color equals, make it white, so W. And yeah, that should be good. All right, and then from there, we're going to do the next, we're going to plot. So the plot title is going to be about raw data as a histogram. And histogram is basically a bar graph, for lack of better words. It's just pretty much the same thing as a bar graph. Slightly different, but pretty much the same thing. So anyway, so that's done. Plot dot show. So as long as I have no typos in this should run right now. If I run the plot, it should show me. When your plot show, it tells me to show me the plot that I just asked for. So I'm hit run, and it takes a few seconds because you got to import all these pandas and NumPy and so forth. All right, so I had to pause it because it took almost a minute to run. But now that it's finished reading all the data and creating histogram, it created this raw data histogram. Here it is. So I'm going to click here. I'm gonna maximize it so I can see it better. Then hit this little button to make it even better. And now you look at it, this is my skewed data, right? And now that we know what skewed data is, we say this data is skewed right because there's outliers here on the right. Most of the data is on the left of it, so the whale's tail is on the right side. And this is my first graph. I would save this graph, either snapshot it, screenshot it. You have a save feature here. I don't know if you know how to get back to it again though. So I'll probably screenshot this graph so I can use it in my project later. All right, let's get back to the code now. So I'm just gonna close this out, hit this button to restore back to where it should be. Let's go back into the code. All right, at this point, I've actually done it. So I'm hit pound. Now you should be able to see the data as a histogram. In gram. In Python, whenever I hit this little pound button, it tells me that I'm writing just telling myself a note. I'm making a note of something. So this is not read in the program. So when I run the program, it doesn't read anything to follow this pound symbol. That's why it's got a different color. So I can it basically turns it off. Like if I want to turn off one of these, I can just hit pound and that code won't run anymore unless I take the pound off. So it's a nice way to histogram. If the data is skewed, then we will transform the data with logarithms. All right, so that's my little note I wrote. So we usually when we write code, we add these little notes to it to remind us what we're doing and what we should see and so forth. So it's always a good thing to have a little note for yourself. So from there, I'm going to Boise, B-O-I-S-E, underscore Idaho, underscore transform. So dot underscore trans equal, this is my variable name, Boise underscore Idaho. And that variable is going to mean the data frame, square brackets. The string is called Boise, B-O-I-S-E, underscore Idaho. So, and then dot transform square bracket np.log. This is NumPy. So NumPy allows us to do the mathematics for transforming with logarithms. All right, so that's what NumPy, that's why we imported that. It's going to print as Boise, B-O-I-S-E, underscore ID, underscore trans. So we're going to print the transformation we made. And then we'll do Boise, B-O-I-S-E, underscore ID, underscore trans, dot histogram. So dot hist. So the bins here, I'm going to make it 20. And it's giving me this note here. So I want that note to go away. Maybe it'll go away later. All right, now it's gone. So then stay inside. So the bins is 20, and the layout is going to be 1-to-1. So you could have more than one picture in the frame. So I only want one picture in the frame. So it could be 1-to-1. The edge color equals K, and the figure size, so fig size equals, I'm gonna make it 10 by 8 this time. All right, so that should be good. Make it a little tighter. It didn't matter. I had the space there. All right. Also, this K for the edge color, it just means it's black. So that K just means it's the black color for my edge. All right. And let's go to the next line. So we're gonna name the x-axis. So plot x label. X label is gonna be commute time in minutes. So in my example, I was looking at the commute times in minutes of people in Boise, Idaho. Hence, I name my x-axis commute time in minutes. Yours may be different depending on whatever your x-axis label needs to be. So plot my y label. I'm going to name that the number of commuters. Whether I use one quotation or two quotations, it doesn't matter. Python, I see them both as strings, and strings just means it's words inside the code. It's going to appear in the picture. It didn't have any functions. It's just words you'll see inside your picture. Kind of like hello world. It's just words. So number of commuters, and then I'm going to plot my title. I want my title to be commute time for drivers in Boise, Idaho. All right, so I got the title plugged in, and now I want my grid to be tight. I don't want anything kind of cut off. I'm trying my best not to get it cut off, so I'm plugging plot tight underscore layout. It's gonna make it a better picture. I'm gonna try to fit everything in a little bit better. And it's gonna plot dot grid. I want to see grid marks. Like here, I saw my grid marks. I want to make sure my grid marks show. So I'm gonna hit true. So that means my grid marks should show. So I can easily count, with how high those graphs go. And then I'm gonna hit plot dot show. This should show me the plot. And when I run this, it should show me both pictures now. So I'm gonna stop from doing whatever it's doing at first. As long as I got no typos, it should run. It should run okay. It should run smoothly. So hit run. All right, so there are no typos or errors in my code. Everything worked out well. If you did have typos or errors in your code, I'm gonna tell you to do this. I fix my errors in my code with OpenAI. There's artificial intelligence. I think Microsoft just bought them out. But you go to OpenAI, and they changed the format a little bit. But you're gonna sign in. I just drop my code in there and ask the AI, what is my error in my code? And it'll show you exactly what the error is and tell you what exactly what the error is. All right, so going back to where we were. So now when I check it out, see what the code looks like, and see what the graph looks like, make this big. And this is the very first one. It's still printed again. And I don't want to see that one yet. And my second one should be right behind it. There it is. Make it big. So I got my commute time for drivers in Boise, Idaho on top, the number of commuters on the side, and the commute time in numbers. It's a nice looking graph. See how the edges are black and so forth. Anyway, so it's a nice looking graph. It looks good, and I like that. So I'm gonna take a picture of this. I save this, and this is now the transform data afterwards. I'll be sure to note whenever I talk about this data, this is not the raw data. This is the transform data with logarithms, and it looks kind of normally distributed. Like most of the data stacked in the middle. and it thins out on the ends. It's a bell-shaped curve. All right, that's it. This is how you would actually, that's the code you're going to type in and to use to run your program. Now, you're going to change some things. Like you're going to have a different data set. All the names here, like my name in my file was stat this data. My name of my column was Boise, Idaho. And you're going to change yours to whatever you're talking about. But that's your mission. All right. Hope that makes sense. If you need help, let me know.